This week, we didn't really have to write a ton of code. Um, I made three methods in the main class, um, and they're pretty simple. They just add, the first one is adding a couple integers, the second is squaring a random number, and the third gets that random number. The interesting thing is that we've written some tests to make sure that they're returning the correct values. So we're kind of getting into that test-driven development side of things. So for the first method that adds a couple integers, what we do is we create a stream of arguments, so we can run it multiple times on any given arguments. We can come up with any kind of scenario, all the corner cases and edge cases that we need, and feed them into it in this method, and it'll test that if we're expecting it to pass, it'll test that it passes and gives us the same value, and if we're expecting it to throw the error, we test that happens. The second test is um, squaring a random number, and this one's interesting because we don't know what the number is going to be before the method's run. So what we have to do is kind of make a copy of the method and inject our own number in there halfway through so that we can actually test that it's returning the right value. We also had to do some work in our Palm XML, but this was just a big configuration, and it was more of a copy paste operation than really understanding all the things that all the dependencies we're adding. So anyway, I will just go ahead and switch over to the JUnit and run this, and you can see that um, all the tests pass. If I were to add a new test here, you can't forget my comma, and say we will add 2 and 2, and that'll give us 4, and we expect that to not throw an error. So we'll add false and run it. And you can see that it's running. So, I haven't got a negative number in here, so let's try that. So if we add -1 and -7, and that should give us -8, but because they're not positive numbers, it should throw that error, so we'll add that, and you can see that that one went through without a hitch. So it's behaving as expected, and we know that our method in the test demo class is working correctly for a couple cases. That's all we have this week.